It started with a phone call. Lina was halfway through her shift at the small-town motel she worked at, the Hollow Pines Inn, when the landline rang. Not her cell phone. The dusty landline behind the reception desk that hadn't rung in months. She stared at it, confused. It was nearly midnight. No guests had checked in all day. She picked it up. A whisper. Not a voice. Not words. Just a whisper, like breath against her ear. She yanked the phone away, chilled.
Hello?
She asked, forcing her voice to stay steady. Nothing. Just soft breathing, then a sudden click. She shrugged it off. Probably a prank. But when she turned around, room 13 was lit. No one was staying in room 13. In fact, it hadn't been used since the incident 5 years ago. The previous owner hung himself there. Lina didn't like to talk about it. She went to the room. Light under the door. But when she knocked, it flickered and went dark. Heart racing, she unlocked it. Inside, the room looked perfectly untouched. Neat. Clean. But the bed was still warm. As if someone had just been lying there. She checked the logbook. No check-ins. The room wasn't booked. That's when the TV in the lobby turned on by itself. Static. Blazing loud. She ran back, only to find an old video playing on screen. Grainy footage. Black and white. The motel, years ago. But in the center of the frame was her. Lina. Sitting behind the desk. Wearing exactly what she had on right now. But her face was different. Pale. Eyes wide and hollow, as if she'd been dead for days. The video glitched, and behind her figure on the screen, a tall shadow formed in the hallway. A deep chill rolled down her spine. She turned around, nothing was there. Just the dim hallway. She locked the office door. And then the phone rang again. She answered, trembling. This time, a voice.
You shouldn't be here. You weren't supposed to come back.
Who is this?
Ha ha ha, you don't remember what you did that night.
What night?
But the line went dead again. Suddenly, the air felt wrong. Heavy. Like something ancient had just woken up. Then she noticed, on the wall behind her, where the guest map used to hang, was a photo. It hadn't been there before. She stepped closer. It was a photo of her, standing beside a man. But his face was burned out. She was smiling. The edges of the photo were charred. On the back, in her handwriting. Nothing about that night was normal. Her breath caught. She didn't remember taking that photo. She didn't remember that man. She didn't remember anything about that night. Suddenly, the power cut out. In total darkness, she heard footsteps. Not from the hallway. From inside the office. She wasn't alone. She grabbed the emergency flashlight, clicked it on, and screamed. A man stood inches from her face. Head tilted. Hollow eyes.
You burned me alive.
He said, voice like ash. It hit her then, memories flooding back. The motel fire. 5 years ago. The secret affair. The betrayal. How she and the owner tried to cover it up. How she left him locked inside, screaming. But he wasn't supposed to remember. He was supposed to be dead. She ran. Through the back door. Into the woods behind the motel. But the deeper she ran, the stranger the woods became. The trees twisted. Bent backwards. The ground felt soft, like breathing skin. And then, she found a cabin. An old one. Dusty. The door creaked open. Inside, the same photograph from before. Now blood-stained. Every name in it had been scratched out. Except one, Lina Hollow. She never noticed before, her last name matched the motel. The realization hit her like thunder. She wasn't working at Hollow Pines. She was tied to it. She had died that night in the fire. This wasn't a shift. This was a loop. A punishment. A hell made just for her. And tonight was the night she was supposed to remember it all. But the story doesn't end there. Because the next morning, police responded to a 911 call made from room 13. They found a cell phone melted to the carpet. A video was still playing on it. Lina, staring into the screen. Eyes wide. Whispering one sentence over and over.
Nothing about that night was normal. Nothing about that night was normal. Nothing about that night was normal.
She wasn't alive. But she was still speaking. And in the corner of the frame, the tall, shadowy figure watched, waiting for the next one who dares to check in.